And hello.
Oh shit,
We're here.
we've done it.
We did it. I
Made
think.
it.
It says it's green, so I'm assuming we're good.
That can mean anything.
Shh. So, hi.
Hi.
Welcome to What the YA
What
podcast.
the ya? What the ya?
What the Ya? Where we
What
talk
the
about
ya?
young adult books and what we think of them, and if they're good, if they're bad, if they make us want to bomb, you know.
Or all of the above. It's good, bad, and I want it to bomb.
I haven't encountered one of those yet.
Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe that's the goal of the podcast.
I mean, this series kind of gives me that kind of emotion. Not that it's bad, but a lot of bad stuff happens, but it's written really well.
Yes.
And then some horrible bad stuff happens that makes me want to bomb.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Just
But
think
it's
about
but
it for
it's
a second.
like it's a bad book, but it's not like a bad book.
It's not like a bad. It's like a bad book in that bad stuff happens, but it's
Yes,
like bad stuff.
but it's still a good book.
But it's a good book, and some of the bad stuff makes me want to bomb.
Got it.
Got it. Nailed it. Kill it. We're here. We're
We're
fucking in
talking
it.
about a series of unfortunate events by
I would-
Lemony Snicket.
Grab the book, but that's too far away. It's
It's on the screen.
just-
The first
yeah,
one,
they
at
can.
least.
That first one, yeah.
So we're gonna be discussing 1 through 4.
Mhm.
We're down a person.
Yes, which is very
And-
sad because she's the only one of the group who hasn't read them before. So it would have been nice to have had
Yeah.
her first time experience discussed, but
Next
shit
time.
happens. Life happens.
Yeah,
We plan on doing the entire series over a course of time.
3 or 4
So-
different podcasts. So
Yeah, yeah. So we'll get her take on it eventually.
yeah. And the other
Okay.
thing is, only one of us has read it.
Me.
So
Well, it's fine. Julia read it. She's just not here to discuss it.
all right. So I'm just the bad one.
Yeah,
Or-
naughty, not.
I mean, I was busy. I moved. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's whatever. I have an excuse. It's fine.
I
read them
I
before.
had moved before the last podcast, but other things happened. I moved people in. We have roommates now. It's a thing.
Yeah, stuff happens.
And it was gone for like a week and a half. Look.
Listen. A series of unfortunate events occurred.
And that's why this podcast is late. By 2
It's
days.
so fitting. Everything that's led up to this podcast just feels so
Perfect.
in line with, because we initially wanted to record on Friday the 13th, because
Mhm.
obviously.
Yeah. But no.
But that didn't happen. We couldn't record yesterday because you were
There were
doing
things
stuff.
happening.
Things
There's
were
still
happening.
things happening, but we're still gonna do it.
still fucking doing it, because we made a commitment to ourselves.
I know. I was like, if we wait till next weekend, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. Because next weekend I'm also busy, so
Yeah.
it's just like,
There's always something.
there's just, yeah. So
Always something. You still gotta do it.
and plus, this is one of our favorite book series,
Mhm.
especially growing up. So,
Yeah.
like, even though Julia's not here, being able to discuss it between the two of us seems like a really good opportunity, because
Yeah.
we both grew up with this book. We loved it. I remember reading it on the bus with you at one point. I don't remember which one,
I
but
know.
I
I was
remember
like,
that.
which one was that?
I don't remember which one, but I remember we would sit on the bus together and we would just read it together, just silently.
Can't remember. I remember that the 6th one was my favorite.
Six one, just six one.
The elevator one.
Oh yeah, the AirSats elevator. For the longest time, I was like, "What does AirSats mean?" And then to define it, I'm like, "Really?"
For real?
I know we're going with an alliteration thing for all of the books, but come on.
You don't have to do that. You can
mean, the last
just say
one is
the elongated elevator. There you go.
There
Or
we
you
go.
could make it interesting and make it the elephant elevator. What does that mean?
What does that mean? It could be anything.
Or maybe they
Yeah.
just had to make it fit on the cover. I don't know.
Yeah. I think, it's like the AirSats elevator and the Vile Village, I think, are great because they are a
Yeah.
turning point in the story for sure.
Yeah, because
Which-
then it's like, oh, there is a conspiracy happening. There was like
Yeah.
just hints before.
Now there's like full blown, like in your face shit. But we'll discuss that when we actually do those books. 'Cause,
True. We're only doing 1
getting-
through 4.
Yeah, we're gonna get ahead of ourselves, and I don't want to spoil things for people who especially for Julia if she manages
Oh,
to
yeah.
watch. Which I don't know if she'll ever be able to watch our videos. I think sometimes she does, but if she does watch this, I don't want to spoil anything for her.
Right.
Because I know she knows some things, but I don't want to spoil.
Yeah.
Because that would be sad. So,
Yes.
which will we begin? The bad beginning?
What about the good beginning?
There is a good beginning to
Dang
the
it.
story. Shit.
Do you want to read the summary, or?
Yeah.
I think.
Well, all I have is the Dear Reader section that's on the back of it. Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
fine?
I think that's
Okay.
all it is.
That's basically the summary. That's what they use. When I read this book, whenever it was like a Lemony Snicket narration, I always imagined Jude Law's narration in the movie because his voice is so good.
Yeah.
Like Lemony Snicket in the Netflix series is also really good, but Jude Law's voice is just just brings me.
So what you're saying
joy.
is you're about to do a really great impression.
No, definitely not.
Dang it! Everything's going wrong.
I'm not good at impressions at all. Okay. Dear reader, I'm sorry to say that the book you are holding in your hands is extremely unpleasant. It tells an unhappy tale about 3 very unlucky children. Even though they are charming and clever, the Baudelaire siblings lead lives filled with misery and woe. From the very page of this book, when the children are at the beach and receive terrible news, continuing on through the entire story, disaster lurks at their heels. One might say they are magnets for misfortune. In this short book alone, the 3 youngsters encounter a greedy and repulsive villain, itchy clothing, a disastrous fire, a plot to steal their fortune, and cold porridge for breakfast.
Man.
That's fucking the worst. It is my sad duty to write down these unpleasant tales, but there is nothing stopping you from putting this book down at once and reading something happy, if you prefer that sort of thing. With all due respect, Lemony Snicket.
So I remember, even when I was like little and reading this, I was like, why is he writing this story if he doesn't want us to read it?
I remember being young and being like, who's Lemony Snicket? just
And then, yeah, because then when you realize he's in the story, you're like, wait a second.
yeah, like, what?
This isn't how books work.
Wait, is this like a biography? Yeah, I remember being a kid and this series being so enrapturing. What's the word? Sure, whatever. But just enthralling.
Yeah.
Basically what I was trying to go for, and it just
Synonyms.
didn't work out that way. But this is so enthralling because it was like you were picking up a piece of like made up history, but as a kid, you don't know that like it doesn't register. Like
Yeah.
when you know, like you pick it up and you're like it's fiction, and then you like read through it and then you realize Lemony Snicket is a real person, like is a person in the book, like in the actual story, and you're just like, wait, what? Like what's
And then like you realize that the dedications to Beatrice at the beginning actually matter. You're like,
yeah.
I never read those.
Dedications, who cares about those? You know, they're like the first book in the series is such a great start to the entire plot.
Yeah,
and the entire
it sets the tone perfectly.
And like for kids who pick it up for the first time, especially, I love every single one of the Dear Reader sections is just like, put this book down, walk away. It'll make you extremely upset and sad.
And that's why the Netflix series made that the theme song.
Yeah. Oh my god. I was thinking that show was so good.
Look away. Look away. So good.
But like, the song in there as well, that's not how the story goes. I learned it on ukulele because it's just so good.
Oh, cool.
It's so easily sets up, like, this is gonna be a sad and depressing story. Nothing good is gonna happen, but you still root, like
No,
something.
you're still so hopeful.
Something good's
You
gonna happen.
connect to them so fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then spoiler. Nothing good happens. Nothing good happens.
I mean, even every like moment where it's like, yeah, we did it. We made the pasta. No one likes it.
no, I wanted roast beef. The fuck?
You didn't say that.
There's like one of my favorite quotes in the bad beginning is, it's after they've had like a really like horrible moment with Olaf, which most of their moments with Olaf are horrible. But they're like crying in bed together. And it's just like, you know that a good long session of weeping can often make you feel better, even if your circumstances have not changed one bit. And it's just like, oh god, these poor children.
So true.
And
So
you
sad.
remember that like Violet's only 13 and she turns 14 in like or something like that. Klaus is like 11 and he turns 12 in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunny is just a baby, and you just like realize like they're kids.
Just tinies.
Because they also act very much older. They're very mature, and I think that's meant to be like a counterbalance to how stupid the adults are in the area. But it's just like they're so smart, so you forget how young they are, and then you like you're in like bits and pieces, and you're like, oh no, they're only like 13.
I know. It's like that's what 6th grade.
Yeah,
7th grade.
Their parents perished in the fire, and
I'm so sad. Just thinking back to that time.
like I'm just thinking back to like 6th, 7th grade. I'm just like, oh no, please. Like they don't go to school at all until the 5th book, which is like also just insane. What is happening? Wait, let's break down the plot of this book.
Indeed. So they're on a beach.
Briny Beach. Which is it's a rainy day, which is like it's like not raining, but it's like that in between rain where it's like it rained earlier and it's not raining now, but you can tell rain is probably gonna come back in the future. That's how I imagine it, at least. It's like gray, everything's kind of wet, and not.
You're just on a gray beach.
Yeah, just gray beach.
A bunch of pebbles everywhere.
It's their favorite time to go to the beach because then not a lot of people are there, which is me whenever I go outside.
It's like, it's raining. It's time to go.
Perfect. Let's go places because no one will be out. But they're just having a great day on the beach. Violet is skipping stones with her right hand. Her right hand, because she is right-handed, with her right hand skipping stones. And then you're introduced to her, like, her mind and how, like, you know, she wants to invent, like, a thing that when she skips stones, it, like, causes, like, a contraption at the end where it goes into it and then it pops back out. So you, like, don't lose the stone. Because if you find a good skipping stone, the best way to know it's a good skipping stone is to get rid of it. So you can never get it back. Yeah. So you're introduced to her want to invent and her tying her hair up in a ribbon and what that entails. You're introduced to Klaus, who's 2 years younger than her, and he likes to read because he's reading about. I can't remember what he's reading about in he's reading about something.
I don't know.
I just know
he doesn't say.
I know that later they go to Justice Strauss's house, and he's like, "Do you have books about wolves? I've been really interested in wolves." like I don't know why, but that just stuck out of my head for a while. I'm like,
oh, Klaus.
Okay, whatever, Klaus. And then Sunny is like biting shit because Sunny likes to bite. I basically imagine she's teething, and that's basically what. But everyone's like associated. Like she's just this like crazy. Like no, she's probably just teething. She's probably just teething, but she has unnaturally sharp teeth.
Which would hurt if you're teething.
Yeah. Ow. Yeah. But they're just having a great day at the beach, and then
Biting all over.
Yeah, Mr. Poe appears through the fog, wearing a bowler hat, and I can't remember his exact line, but he's like, "Children, I have some very unfortunate news." Basically, doesn't sugarcoat it. Just like, your parents have perished in a fire. Just like a little bit more like
everything's just like
yeah.
Excuse me.
Like just like I don't know, like they're
April
young.
Fool's Day.
Like they're young and they like they like have like comprehending stuff, and then like it's just like just from the immediate introduction to Mr. Poe, you're immediately meant to like not like him. I feel like he's the only person you can rely on for anything, but immediately your introduction to him is like
he sucks.
Yeah, he's awful.
He's just the worst.
Horrendous.
Like the way that they portrayed him in the TV show is just like
it's brilliant.
I hate you so much. But you're so funny.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, it's like you're supposed to be like, this is just a man who's just trying to do his job, but like he has no empathy, like no tact, no empathy regarding the matter, because he works for a bank, and all bankers are basically
miserable
people. But he loves his job at Mortuary
because he has no feelings.
Because he has no feelings. But he is in charge of the Baudelaire's inheritance, which is to be given to Violet when she becomes of age, which is 5 years from now. And which means, and like he's basically in charge of their will, which says the will states that they are supposed to be taken into the care of the relative within the closest distance of them.
Yeah, it's supposed to be closest relative, but they interpret it as closest distance-wise, not in relation.
Oh my god. Just let that sink in. Like, that's the fucking shit we're dealing with right now.
That doesn't make any sense. Why does it happen?
Why? Why? Just why?
And it's like, and that's like, this is like the biggest, like, introduction to the idea of, like, all the adults are just idiots. Like,
your introduction to what the adults are like are Mr. Poe, and then like Mr. Poe is your basis for all the other adults, and it basically holds true to all the other adults, even the good ones that you meet. They're all a bunch of
they take things so literally, and like so just such a disconnect from like the kids who are just like so much more mature, but still have the imagination of kids.
Yeah, exactly. So weird. Like normal people. And I think that's like I think that's obviously there's a point to it in that like you're supposed to like the kids are supposed to be smart and observant but like all the adults just look at them as kids, but they're not just kids. They're really smart kids because they grew up with really smart. I imagine that the Baudelaire parents were very smart and intelligent people, not at all like the adults that we experience in this.
Or they just had a library.
Yeah, that just helped. But like everywhere they go, there's a library for them to access. Like in the wiki of like the series of fortunate events, they like list out like what the color of the book is, blah blah blah, and then what the library is, because there's a library in every single book. So it's really brilliant. That's why
another reason to love it.
Exactly.
Especially if you're Hermione at heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so Poe has to he's in charge of their will, and so until they can figure out who their closest relative in distance is, they are staying with the Poes, which is Mr. Poe, his wife, and their 2 sons, who smell weird. That's all I remember of them. But they're also dicks, because I remember them being like, why are you guys so sad all the time? And it's just like,
our parents just died. You tiny douchebags.
You tiny assholes. I just, like, that's like, that leads to another quote of the ones that I wrote down. It is a sad truth in life that when someone has lost a loved one, friends sometimes surround the person just when the presence of friends is most, friends sometimes avoid the person just when the presence of friends is most needed.
You know, I just read this thing on Reddit that it was like, if someone has like an extreme loss or something really bad happen to them, and like everyone's been there for them, make sure that you are still there for them 3 months after it happens, because that's when everyone stops caring.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, so sad.
Yeah, that trauma doesn't stop. It just like they just learn to comprehend it.
Yeah, they can cope better now.
Yeah. And like, but you still need to be there for that. Yeah, it's just it's like very sad. But like it just like I can understand the 2 kids, maybe they don't comprehend like what's happened. So like,
but it's like
this.
If all the if the juxtaposition is supposed to be adults versus kids, these kids like are just like the adults.
But also, should we take into fact that these kids were raised by Mr. Poe, who has no tact whatsoever?
I don't know.
You are a product of how you were raised. It's kind of a situation.
I know, because I guess there's like other kids in the series that are just way worse.
Oh, when you get to the Austar Academy, what's your tits? The little tap dancing demon.
I hated her so much when I was reading. I was like, I don't even want to read this.
You meet the Quagmires, who are like the Baudelaires, like lost their parents, but like.
And then there's connections.
But they're smart, and then the connections start building.
Okay. Anyway,
Anyway, yeah, moving on.
That's later.
That's later. It's much later. We're not covering that now. So yeah, they stay at Mr. Poe's for a little while, and then they determine that Count Olaf is their most close relative in distance, and he takes them there to
They've never met this man.
Never met. They're like cousin twice removed, distant.
Wasn't it like third cousin 4 times removed or something like that? It's like you're not even in the family, dude.
Yeah, like you're not even there. So they pull up to the house, and it's like a really nice looking house, and there's like a fence and everything, and then they meet Justice Strauss, who lives there, and they're like, oh, are you Count Olaf's wife? And she's like, no, Count Olaf lives across the street. And then they turn around, and it's like this decrepit Victorian building of chaos and sad.
Lightning.
Yeah, just like air booming for some reason. It's like, you know that scene in Despicable Me where you meet Gru, and his house is like every house on the street is like really nice and like colorful, and then his is just dark. That's basically what it's like.
Cloud.
Yeah, but that's when we get introduced to Justice Strauss, who is a really nice woman who has a library. Her library is the library in the story. She is a judge, so she knows about law. Even though like there's like a big talk about what law books are, it's like no one enjoys reading law books, even when you're in law. So they had that little like nice little fake out there, but then they go up to the door of Count Olaf's place, and they knock, and they are greeted by Count Olaf, who has a unibrow, really crazy fucking hair, and then a tattoo of an eye on his ankle.
Yep.
And those are his defining features, and a big nose.
If you're going off of the book covers too, his skin is slightly blue.
Yes, so slightly. Like that could be just the shadows of inside his house.
He's always blue.
I mean, I think that's like a point in like color theory. It's just like he's darker, more shaded down, whereas the kids are always in light colors.
The rosy cheeks.
The rosy cheeks. So they meet Olaf. And they have, like, a slight introduction, blah, 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 which leads to another... like, all my quotes happen within, like, the first few pages. First impressions are often entirely wrong. It's, like, one of those quotes. And then, which also leads into, your initial opinion on just about anything may change over time. And then I think the rest of the quote, like, goes into, like, but Count Olaf's impression, not great. Not good.
Just downhill. Bad and downhill.
Just like they were hopeful and things just kept getting worse.
Slid down so fast.
So they are greeted by Olaf. Poe leaves after a little bit, and then it is determined that all the kids do is chores, and they cook dinner, and
they do it wrong, but not really because they weren't told how to do it correctly, so they just did it.
Looking at the like wiki, and it's like the house has a tower which the Baudelaires are forbidden from entering. Not allowed to go into the tower. Count Olaf is unpleasant, easily angered, and calls the Baudelaires orphans, which is what you want in a parent.
Yes.
Olaf only provided them one filthy room with only one bed, a pile of rocks, and a cardboard box. He forces the children to perform many laborious and difficult chores, such as chopping wood.
Yay.
And cleaning the house, and like the one benefit that they said was that Olaf was gone a lot of the time, so once they were done with the chores, they were free to do whatever they wanted. So a lot of times they would go across the streets to Justice Strauss's and read books, basically. This is where the books on wolves comes in for Klaus. It's just really was interested in wolves.
Yeah, they howl at moons.
Yeah,
and they pack together.
One morning they wake up and there's a note from Olaf saying that they need to cook dinner because he's inviting everyone from his troop over. He just provides... He's an actor. Right, he's an actor. He provides them a little bit of money for them to buy stuff for, but doesn't say anything beyond that. So they go to Justice Strauss's to find a recipe that's easy, and they find the recipe for pasta puttanesca. Then they go to the store, they buy some shit, they come back, they make the shit, and then, like, the troop comes by...
They're so proud of it, too.
Yeah, they're like, we did it. Maybe and they made chocolate pudding for dessert because they had a little bit of extra money. So hell yeah, fuck yeah. They were proud. They were like, maybe if we do really good on this, Count Olaf will be nicer to us. Blah blah blah. Count Olaf comes home with the troop and is just like, where's the roast beef? And then yells at them for not making roast beef, even though he didn't.
He never said anything.
He never specified
like
roast
a douche.
Like, you know, a shitty ass parent.
Yeah.
So he suffers through dinner because he wasn't happy with it, but they eat it. And they suffering. They eat it, and after dinner, Olaf orders the children to their beds. Klaus reminds Olaf he has only provided them one bed, and they can't use their fortune to buy. And oh yeah, and then Olaf was just like, you can use your fortune to buy another one, and they're like, we can't use our fortune to buy another until Violet is of age, causing Olaf to angrily slap Klaus's face so hard he falls to the floor. So abuse is good.
Yay! This was the exact opposite of what we wanted.
Yeah. Olaf's theater troupe only laughs and applauds Olaf. The Baudelaires retreat to the kitchen and Violet looks at the pasta sauce in the pot, which now resembles a vat of blood to her. The depressed Baudelaires wash the dishes and go to sleep, quietly weeping because of the terrible situation they are in. It's very sad.
It sucks.
Very sad. It's very, very sad. The next day, they were told by Poe when he left that if they ever needed anything, they could come talk to him at his job at, what was it? Mortuary Money Management.
Yes.
So they go there to visit him after they do their chores, and to tell him that, like, Olaf is horrible, he abuses us, he hit Klaus, he has a bruise on his eye that's very visible, apparently.
Nope, nothing.
What Poe says is that Olaf is acting in loco parentis, which it means that he's acting as a parent.
Yeah.
But parents shouldn't hit their kids.
No.
That's not what a parent does.
Nope.
So he basically brushes them off, and it's just like, because Olaf is your parent, he can do whatever he wants with you.
It's like, you were supposed to help us. You said we could come to you for help.
Fucking dick.
Worst. I want my mom back.
Please. Oh, like, another one of my, like, one of the saddest quotes that I wrote down was, if you have ever lost someone very important to you, then you already know how it feels, and if you haven't, you cannot possibly imagine it. Which is just the saddest fucking, it's so sad. It's so sad. But they go home. They go to the library because they're like, we just need something to make us feel better, and then they read.
We'll read about wolves.
Yeah, let's read about wolves. The next morning, Olaf reveals that Poe blabbed to him and was just like, hey, the kids came to me. They said that you were kind of an asshole. What's up with that? So, again, Poe, fucking killing it.
Great guy, you know, dad of the year.
Olaf apologizes for being standoffish, but
that's not what happened.
That's not
what
that
not
means.
Even a smidgen of what happened.
The children cold porridge for breakfast. They got oatmeal.
Ew.
It's so gross. He explains to them his new play, The Marvelous Marriage, is coming up, and he's been very stressed about it, which may be why he's been acting so standoffish to the children. So he decides to give them a role in it, and it's like,
we can
this
work
way
together,
you can,
like a family.
Like a family. And they're like, he's like, Klaus, Sonny, you're gonna play conjoined twins, and they're like, but we are not
the same age at all.
He's just like, you're gonna be midgets. It's fine. It's just great. And then he reveals to Violet that she was going to be playing the lead actress role, who will be marrying Count Olaf. And she's like, can I do anything else? Like, anything? Like, I'm good with mechanical stuff.
I can make sets.
Can I do behind the scenes shit? And he's like, no. I am your father, and I say you will marry me. A round of applause.
Best book for children.
This book is for children.
Like, just thinking about, like, reading this when you're, like, 10, And it's like, you're not processing it the same way, but you're still like, you still are.
They're like, this is wrong, this isn't right, but
this
you don't see
weird.
You don't see how it's so wrong.
Yeah, because your focus isn't on how wrong it is. Your focus is on how are they going to get out of this weird situation.
Oh, he's up to something. I don't know what it is. It's bad, though. It's obviously bad. They immediately suspect something is up, so they go across the street to the Strauss's library,
Dun, dun, dun,
and they
dun.
grab some law books, because they're going to read about the law. And they have to go home. The hook-handed man. Also, the henchman of androgynous gender or indeterminate gender is still like my favorite title for a character of all time. They go. The hook-handed man comes to grab them because they needed to like be back at the house for something. And Klaus sneaks a book with him because he's like, I'm not done reading, and
So
he's
naughty.
like, yeah, ooh, Klaus, naughty children.
All the rules. Such a rebel.
Klaus learns that the marriage in the play will be legally binding because they're using an actual marriage certificate. And Justice Strauss is also in the play, and she will be ordaining the marriage. So the idea is that
it's
Klaus...
fake, but
fake.
she's a judge, so it's not.
And there'll be plenty of witnesses, and they're using the actual proper legal document for marriage. So the idea is that
it's just a prop.
It's a prop. It's just a prop.
Our prop department's just the best. They
That
made
was
it look
really
so
fun.
legit.
Like almost legit looking, like
It's like
government.
almost like it's printed right off the internet.
Ugh, crazy.
I don't know
So-
if you can print those off the internet. I don't know.
There's a proper marriage seal on there that's like holographic that you can't print out. So like you have to
What
like
if I
obtain it.
can? You don't know the printer I have.
Okay. Really, I don't know why you would want. I mean,
Well, maybe I'm trying to marry some orphans and get some money. Which I'm admitting right now.
for the entire world. Yeah, he figures out that the marriage will be, in fact, legit,
So we
and
gotta stop
tries.
it.
Like we need to fucking do it because if it happens, Olaf will
Take all
get
our
the fortune.
muns
That's not good.
and kill us.
Yeah, Klaus confronts Olaf, who gets one of his associates to tape Sunny's mouth shut, tie her up with rope, lock her in a birdcage, and dangle her from outside the window of his tower. The tower that they're not allowed to go into. So there's just a baby in a cage, suspended high in the air. Again, he's acting in loco parentis. I don't know what the deal is. It should be fine.
I mean, me either. Totally fine. This is part of my plan also.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Writes down really fast. But that's so weird. Get a birdcage, dangle children.
To-do list.
He threatens to kill her if Klaus and Violet do not follow the plan. Violet constructs a makeshift grappling hook and uses it to climb up the tower. I like the grappling hook that they made for the TV series because it's like not a grappling hook. It's just like a machine. It just feeds like bedding.
Yeah,
things.
it's like a legit machine that we should probably have
Fine.
in society.
She finds the hook-handed man who is like guarding her, waiting to capture her. Klaus is brought up to the tower and they are locked together in the room until the play begins. So they're all locked together in the tower in wait.
Yep. Not abuse.
During the play, Violet signs the marriage document and Olaf ends the performance like immediately. It's like, we're done! We're done.
We're great.
To tell the audience that their wedding was legally binding, Justice Strauss and Mr. Poe both object, but concede that the law requires them to hand over the Baudelaire fortune to Olaf, which is, again, just so ridiculous. Like,
Best
is there
plan. Best plan.
She's 13, for one, so there's gotta be a law somewhere saying, like, if you try to marry a minor, it's not gonna work.
Nope.
Somewhere. Apparently not.
No one reads the law books. They're too boring.
Apparently not. Violet interrupts to proclaim that the marriage was not legally binding as she signed with her left hand despite being right-handed.
Because that's what my character was, but I'm right-handed.
I'm
My
right-handed.
character was left-handed.
obviously.
I was playing the part, right? You play the character.
Okay. Justice Strauss agrees that this invalidates the marriage.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's like a legitimate thing.
No one reads the law books.
Like, even as a kid, I was like, is that really a thing?
I know, it was like, oh, that's all I have to do?
No, okay,
In
cool.
this situation? Alright.
So I feel like, there could have been any other reason why it couldn't, like, the few reasons that we named, like, she's a minor.
Nope.
Like,
It's fine. I mean, you're now his daughter. Nope, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
Before Olaf can be arrested, one of his associates turns the lights in the theater off. Olaf whispers to Violet that once he obtains her fortune, he will kill her and her siblings before disappearing.
how terrifying.
Yeah, the idea of that just
The lights are off, someone's whispering, I'm gonna kill you, and then he's gone.
Once I get your fortune, you and your siblings will die. And it's like, oh, shit. Remember, she's 13.
7th grade, y'all.
The blah blah before Justice Strauss tells the Baudelaires that she's willing to adopt them, and the Baudelaires support the idea.
Yes,
However,
library.
Mrs. Poe says this would go against their parents' will, as Strauss is not directly related to the Baudelaires.
How do you
Mr.
know?
Poe takes... How do you know?
You don't
Everyone's...
read any law books.
Mr. Poe takes them back to his household until they can find another guardian for them. The Baudelaires are saddened, but thank Justice Strauss and say goodbye as they enter the car to their next destination. So yeah.
Yep. So that's the beginning.
That's the bad beginning. What other quotes do I have? I like looking through them. Like, I mention them as I go, but the way sadness works is one of the strange riddles of the world.
Yes.
Like that, because I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like, I don't know why I'm sad. Half the time I'm sad.
Oh, melancholy.
The smell of cooking food is often a calming one.
Yeah.
And then one of the most troublesome things in life is that what you do or do not want has very little to do with what does or does not happen.
Yep.
So those are my favorite
That's
quotes.
like the entire series.
Yeah, basically. Which is why I thought it was a really good quote, but also like really just good advice. Life-wise, it's just very good advice. Like we mentioned before, this book is a very good setup for the entire series. It follows
equal parts negativity, terror, and absurdity.
Yeah, basically. But it sets up like the formula of the next couple of books as well. It's like there's a guardian, something happens,
Olaf is trying to steal their fortune.
Olaf appears, and then it resolves and they go to
No
new
one
guardian.
believes them that it's Olaf. They prove that it's Olaf. Olaf escapes.
Yeah. Sets up basically the entire, like, the next book really sets up that entire concept, but this sets up, like, the main bits. It's just, like, they're in a guardian's care, Olaf tries to steal their fortune, Olaf is, like...
Stopped somehow.
And then they go to a new guardian. But, like, and even though the setup is very much the same throughout the entire, like, through much of the series, it's really well done, so, like, it doesn't feel repetitive, and also...
Because all the stuff around it is super engaging.
Yeah.
So you
like
use the plot, the repeating plots as just like, this is like the foundation, and now where's all the weird, creepy stuff that's happening around this?
Because, like, especially, I think the wide window is one of my favorites with that setup.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's such an eerie space and like a scary place, and so much shit happens, and yeah, it's just a lot. But yeah, I like this book is very good. It's very good, and like, it sets up this very melancholy feeling throughout the entire series, but again, still somehow maintains like hope. Yeah. And even though like we're proven time and time and again that like
there is no proof that hope will bring anything good.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
Because nothing good happens.
Mm-hmm. At all.
And yet. Time
and time again. And yet we're still like, hey man, they did it. They bested Olaf.
Did it.
Maybe this new guardian will be great. It's just...
And the next guardian.
And then the next guardian, and the one after that. And... Ooh.
Lips.
oh God, think they're bad. Also, Alfoncoot is like one of Olaf's like aliases, and I still love that that's one of his aliases because he uses it a lot. Because it's just an anagram of Count Olaf.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they use that somewhere in this book. I can't remember where, but I think Alfoncoot is like mentioned at some point. But it also sets up other things. Like there's a lot of wordplay that gets introduced as like you keep going through the series. The entirety of VFD is like based around wordplay. So,
when reading this, like for the first time, I got so frustrated. I was like, "What is it? Just tell me what it is."
What is it?
I have to wait for the next book, and I have no guarantee that you're gonna tell me in that book.
You can really learn at the end of the series. You still have like barely any idea. You need the unauthorized biography to fucking learn even more shit. Like so much stuff is in ambiguity, and like you don't learn anything. And what you do learn, you're like,
is this true?
Hey, what do I do with this information?
I have no context for this.
I know, like, cool. And it's like, oh, I can't wait until we get to the Airsets elevator because I cannot wait to discuss the sugar bowl with Julia. Ugh. The goddamn sugar bowl. Ugh.
Alright.
Still to this day. What is it?
Alright. Well, okay, we gotta keep going. We're 40 minutes in, and we are only on book 1.
We gotta go. Okay, next book. The Reptile Room. This has my favorite guardian.
I know, I love him so much. Montgomery.
Montgomery, which apparently I was reading could be based off of Monty Python because he's.
Oh yeah, I wondered that.
Just like I hope it's true because if that's the case, he's even more my favorite. Because that makes so much sense. Because he's like he likes reptiles and his name is Montgomery, and he goes by Monty.
It fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's canon. We're done.
Yeah, fine. We're doing it. All right. Dear reader, if you have picked up this book with the hope of finding a simple and cheery tale, I'm afraid you have picked up the wrong book altogether.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll just turn around and
just put it down. The story may seem cheery at first when the Baudelaire children spend time in the company of some interesting reptiles and a giddy uncle, but don't be fooled. If you know anything at all about the unlucky Baudelaire children, you already know that even pleasant events lead down the same road to misery. In fact, within the pages you now hold in your hands, the 3 siblings endure a car accident, a terrible odor, a deadly serpent, a long knife, a large brass reading lamp, and the reappearance of a person they'd hoped to never see again. I am bound to record these tragic events, but you are free to put this book back on the shelf and seek something lighter.
Wow.
With all due respect, Lemony Snicket. Again, and then that's just like, it's crazy to me that the synopses of these books, like, even they hold story in it. Yeah. And it's just like, why is he bound? Like, why does
he bound mean?
What's bound mean? Wait.
In the context of writing books.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's just crazy. Like, the entirety, every bit of the story.
Every word matters.
Yeah, everything is important in every aspect of this, like, this series, which is just brilliant. It's just fucking brilliant. Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
So
they are taken to Dr. Montgomery. Who
Also,
has a bunch of snakes,
who is like,
and all this stuff.
Yeah, he's like he's like their uncle. Like I can't remember how he's their uncle. He's like their mom's
like father's cousin's wife's brother.
Great uncle. But yeah, he lives on Lousy Lane, which smells weirdly of horseradish.
Ew.
Yeah. According to Mr. Poe, Dr. Montgomery is the Baudelaire's late father's cousin's wife's brother. Dr. Montgomery, or Uncle Monty, as he prefers to be called, is a short, chubby man with a round, red face. Although the casting they did for him in the TV series is really fucking good.
Yeah.
And I love it. Yeah, I love the guy they got to play him. He invites the children in for coconut cream cake, which is delicious. Or in Sunny's case, a carrot.
Yeah.
She likes to chew on things. He's much more friendly man rather than Count Olaf, and gives the children free reign in the house. Each children can have their own room. Monty tells the children that they will be going on an expedition to Peru once his new assistant, Stefano. Stefano. He says that his old assistant, Gustav, had suddenly and suspiciously resigned.
Perished, as Mr. Poe would say.
The children are fascinated by the many snakes in the reptile room, a giant hall in which Monty's reptile collection is stored. They meet the incredibly deadly viper, which Monty has only recently discovered. The snake's name is a misnomer, since it is harmless. Monty intends to use it to play a practical joke on the Herpetologist Society in revenge for them ridiculing his name, Montgomery. The three children are each given jobs in the reptile room. Violet is given the job of inventing traps for new snakes found in Peru. Klaus is told to read books on snakes to help advise. Uncle Monty and Sunny's job is to bite ropes into usable pieces. She also befriends the incredibly deadly viper.
So everything is great.
Yeah, so far, everything's fucking dope. Like, Monty's cool, the reptile room is cool, they get to use their skin.
Rooms.
Coconut cream cake.
Every day.
Monty's cool. He's a little bit erratic, but he's cool.
Yeah.
And like
we're going to Peru.
Yeah, and we're going on an expedition to Peru. And I like how
Stefano arrives.
Yeah, and I love how in the TV series, Monty mentions that the children were initially supposed to go to him, but they mix up. Like something happened. So like it like sets up like
something Olaf weird is going on.
Olaf is the reason they ended up with Olaf in the first place. So like, it just like that just added a level of like conspiracy. Like there's already so much conspiracy in these books, but like that just like all the stuff that they added to the TV series, I think was added so brilliantly and well to like really set up like.
And it doesn't like reveal anything; it just adds.
Yeah, adds. Yeah. When Stefano arrives, the children realize that he is Count Olaf in disguise.
Figured out like right away.
Yeah, Stefano in the movie it has my favorite voice of all time. Hi, I'm Stefano.
Oh my god.
I love Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf.
Yeah.
He does it so well. But Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey's
improvising as Count Olaf was just
my god.
Still the funnest thing in all time. Like just.
Like part of me wishes they would have made the rest of the movies.
Me too.
But at the same time, I'm glad that it's a TV series. I don't know.
It seems more, especially a Netflix TV series, where they can play with like the episodes are an hour long, and so like kind of leads to being able to explore more. But oh my god, it's just hot. I'm Stefano. Like, every time.
Too good.
So good. They immediately realize he's Count Olaf because
he looks like Count Olaf.
Aren't that great?
He's not a great actor.
He's not a great actor.
He wants to be so bad.
So bad. They try to warn Monty, but Stefano foils these attempts. Eventually, Monty does realize Stefano is evil, but believes Stefano to be an imposter sent to the steal the incredibly deadly viper. So he doesn't believe that he's Olaf, but he does think that he's evil. Which, I mean, take what you can get.
Exactly. It's like, yes, Monty.
Yes.
Let's get rid of him.
And like, whatever. Let's just do whatever we need. Monty explains this all to the astonished orphans and tears Stefano's ticket to Peru up. Great. We'll take it. Take it.
Yes.
Saying that Stefano will not be going on the trip with them. Stefano threatens the children privately later, hinting at a plot he has for them when they reach Peru. They tell him that Monty won't let him go with them, and Stefano becomes furious. Bad move on the orphans' part. We should have just kept quiet.
Yep.
Pro tip: if your Uncle Monty's like, you know what, we won't let him go. We're just gonna tear up his ticket, and he threatens you, and like it's just like, you know what, we'll see what happens. We'll see what fucking happens. Fight me, Olaf. Fight me.
Actually, don't. But
you know, like, you know, yeah, totally.
I'm just a baby, so don't.
I would have been like 13-year-old me, would like, yeah, okay, all right, buddy. We'll see, because, like, I know something. And with how stupid all the adults are, he's not going to figure it out until he tries to get on the plane to Peru, and they're like, you don't have a ticket, and then fuck off. But, like...
They just believe that everything's going to work out, no matter how many bad things happen.
It's early on in their, like, serious unfortunate events lives for them right now.
Yeah.
But, like, ooh, they should have realized, like, let's not say anything until everything is fine.
I mean, they're kids.
It's true.
And
this is also
like, stuff like this is what reminds you. It's like, oh, they're. I mean, they're still kind of like dumb kid logic right now. So
this is also when they're first introduced to the fact that Olaf has no problem murdering people. So that might also like be hindering some things. But they tell them that Monty will blah 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 blah. On the day they are to leave for Peru, they discover Monty's dead body in the reptile room. So Olaf is now officially a murderer. He
totally killed Gustav.
Yeah, obviously.
But that was off screen.
It was off screen. They don't know that. They can't prove that, but they can prove that he killed Monty. He has 2 tiny puncture holes under his left eye, and Stefano claims that he was bitten by a snake. Claims. Stefano still intends to take the children to Peru, where he will more easily find a way to get his hands on their fortune. However, as they are leaving the estate, Stefano's car crashes into that of Mr. Poe.
Yes.
This is the car accident that they experience. They return to the house where Poe and Stefano discuss what to do with the children. The Baudelaires try to prove that it was Stefano who killed Monty. During this time, Stefano calls in a doctor named Dr. O. Lucafont, which is another anagram for Count Olaf, to do an autopsy on Monty, where he claims that the incredibly deadly viper killed him. Meanwhile, the children realize that they'll need, which is impossible, by the way, because the incredibly deadly viper is the sweetest,
non-venomous.
Yeah, non-venomous, and also the sweetest snake on the planet.
Yep.
He cuddles with babies. Just putting that out there. Meanwhile,
all of them do. They find babies specifically to cuddle them.
Meanwhile, the children realize that they'll need evidence to expose Stefano's scheme. Klaus and Sunny stage a diversion in which the incredibly deadly viper pretends to attack Sunny to allow Violet time to find and open Stefano's suitcase. Violet does so and finds a syringe and an empty glass vial labeled the venom of the Mamba du Mal, while Klaus reads up on a book about how the Mamba du Mal is poisonous and chokes its victim to death as well. And that if it truly killed Monty, he would have a tenebrous hue, not pale skin. That's why it's important to read, kids.
Yes.
Curious, Mr. Poe rubs away the powder on Stefano's ankle to reveal the eye tattoo, proving to no one's surprise but Mr. Poe's that Stefano was Olaf. In addition, Sunny also removes Dr. Lucafont's fake hands, revealing that he is the hook-handed man. Both Olaf and Ella in the TV series, he's just wearing gloves over his hooks.
Like, dude, you're not fooling anyone.
Fucking genius. In addition to blah blah blah, both Count Olaf and Hook-handed Man get away. Soon the Baudelaires will be assigned to yet another guardian. They watch as Monty's reptile collection is taken away by Bruce
Wayne.
Hi. Batman just comes by.
He's just like, oh, I heard he died. We were friends. I'm gonna take these now.
If it was actually Bruce Wayne, he would have realized that they're orphans and been like, I'm an orphan. I adopt orphans. Let me see what I could do.
But there was some sort of miscommunication where that didn't happen. But if it did, this series would have been so different. Would have had 3 Robins instead of just 1.
No, Violet would become Batgirl before Stephanie Brown did. Then Klaus could become like a Robin at one point. Maybe sometime after Jason Todd dies, before Tim Drake comes in, and then Sunny could just help Alfred or something. I don't know.
Ropes.
She could man the computer
with her teeth.
Well, that's right. Fan.
All right, so we're just gonna stop this podcast right now and start a fan fiction.
Amazing. Just like picked up by Bruce Wayne. Because if it wasn't this way, it would work out. He could totally buy out, be like, listen, I'll buy 1,000 lawyers. I'll make sure that they get to come home with me. It's fine.
I have a bat cave. Office.
Have you seen Second Mansion? I am also an orphan, and I tend to regularly adopt orphans. Oh my god. Jesus. They watch as the car containing the incredibly deadly viper drives off into the night, and they hope to have a more fortunate guardian soon.
There's that hope again.
Oh, it's there. It's there, as it always is.
Alright.
Should we do... let's do... I like doing the VFD references, because also, we haven't touched on the VFD much at all.
Yeah. Was there any in the first one? Like,
I don't think
legit
so.
ones?
I
Except the
don't.
tattoo?
Yeah, just the tattoo is the only mention. They go to the movies during this book, and they watch Zombies in the Snow.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and
I
the
loved the TV show.
and then the subtitles for that movie is like within like Sebald code or something, and like it's like a message for VFD members to find each other or like find information, and it's confirmed by the TV series. Um, Apparently there's like a stamp on like the new paperback version of the book that shows VFD, but there's not much. There's not much. I have a handful of quotes.
Yes, do it.
This is my knife. It is very sharp and very eager to hurt you. Can you guess who said that?
It's very eager to hurt you.
I love that. It's very eager to hurt you.
Ooh.
Waiting is one of life's hardships. Good temporarily defeated is stronger than evil triumphant. There are two types of panicking. Standing still and not saying a word, and leaping all over the place babbling anything that comes into your head.
Yes.
I experience both regularly.
Sometimes simultaneously, which doesn't make any sense, but it does when it's happening.
Yeah. Sometimes, even in the most unfortunate of lives, there will occur a moment or two of good fortune. In life, it is often the tiny details that end up being the most important.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
My sister is a nice girl, said Klaus, and she knows how to do all sorts of things. Which, because I think at some point it's like she tries to. It's when she breaks into Stefano's suitcase, and Mr. Poe is like, nice girls shouldn't do stuff like that, and Klaus is just like, my sister is a nice girl, and she knows how to do all sorts of things. Like, fuck you! You can be a nice girl and know how to do shit. Fuck off. Just like a good mess.
Rebels, don't you know that?
Accidents happen all the time is another just like little like life quote that's in there. Yeah. And then my favorite quote, because it's when Monty is explaining some of the snakes that he has. Never, under any circumstances, let the Virginia wolf snake near a typewriter.
Ha! Yeah, that's a good one. I remember that.
Good. Good. It's good. It's one of my favorites. All right, The Wide Window. Again, one of my favorites in like early series before like the change happens. Mm-hmm. This is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Dear reader, if you have not read anything about the Baudelaire orphans, then before you read even one more sentence, you should know this. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny are kind-hearted and quick-witted, but their lives, I am sorry to say, are filled with bad luck and misery. All the stories about these three children are unhappy and wretched, and the one you are holding may be the worst of them all. If you haven't got the stomach for a story that includes a hurricane, a signaling device, hungry leeches, cold cucumber soup, a horrible villain, and a doll named Pretty Penny, then this book will probably fill you with despair. I will continue to report these tragic tales, for that is what I do. You, however, should decide for yourself whether you can possibly endure this miserable story. With all due respect, Lemony Snicket.
Alright, I'll just keep going down the aisle and...
Also, the dedication for this is for Beatrice. I would much prefer it if you were alive and well.
I would too. I want answers.
You same. Just like a few. You know, there's a theory that, without giving it away, that the Beatrice he's dedicating this to are not the mom, but the daughter at the end. But also, that doesn't make any fucking sense. But there's a theory about that. We can discuss that when we get to the end. We actually get to the very end of the book. The proper series. Hey, okay. The book begins with Violet, Klaus, and Sunny Baudelaire sitting at the Democulus dock in the town of Lake Lachrymose, which lies next to a lake with the same name. Mr. Poe, the manager of their estate, arranges a taxi to drive the Baudelaires to the top of a high hill where their new home awaits. Also, I love the very first picture of that book of, like, how the house is sitting on the hill is terrifying.
Dude, and there's, like, a knife pointing right at Violet's head.
Just, like, dangling down, you know? This
like, if this falls, then she's dead. She's just dead.
There's trivia about that. Hold on. on. The name for Damocles' dock presumably alludes to the legendary Greek figure Damocles, who had a sword dangling over his head. Note that in the picture in the front of the wide window, it shows the boiler children can be seen sitting on their luggage at Damocles' dock. In the archway at the entrance of the dock is a sword dangling over their heads. So it's yeah. It's a reference. It's a good one. You know it's a good one when you have to, like, fucking search for it.
You gotta read, like Klaus.
You gotta be a reader. As the taxi pulls into the driveway, the orphans find themselves at a house perilously perched on the edge of the hilltop that looked out on the lake.
She's
like,
gonna slide right off.
I love the way that the house is depicted in the movie, where, like, the of it is, like, barely on the edge, and the rest of it is just on stilts just hanging over. It's just, like,
terrifying.
that, yeah, scary. Ooh, scary. Also, Meryl Streep is still, like, just brilliant. She's just amazing in everything she does. Although I do love the lady that they got. All of the casting choices for the entire TV series has been great. Especially Nathan Fillion.
I mean, yeah. Anything that Nathan's in. Just.
And then also with Neil Patrick Harris again is just, you know, just being so stupid on set all day. I just want to know them. I just want to know them.
I just want to be them. Can we just be them?
You know what? Well, like, the next time we see each other, I'll dress up as Dr. Horrible, and you could be Captain Hammer, and then we'll find someone to be our Penny. Julia could be Penny. We'll dye her hair red.
Sydney has red hair.
That works too. Inside, they find their new guardian waiting for them, Aunt Josephine Anwhistle. She is a kind-hearted yet peculiar woman who has practically every fear there could be. Like, oh, no, I don't turn on the stove because it could explode and set everything on fire. No, don't turn the doorknobs. Because they're glass, and I'm scared that the glass will break into my hand, so I just kind of push the doors open. Okay.
Let's leave.
And then, like, at the same time, she's terrified of everything.
Nice.
She's super nice, but she lives in this house that is literally just a good gust of wind away from just...
Like, she kind of wants to die.
No, like, part of her inside is just like, I want to be dead, because then I could be with Ike again. Basically. Within Aunt Josephine's house is a library filled with only grammar books, because grammar is one of life's greatest treasures.
Yeah. Yeah.
A large window, the titular wide window, at the far end of the room, which offers a spectacular view of Lake Lachrymose. It is here where Aunt Josephine recounts the tale of her last day on the shores of the lake with her husband, Ike Anwhistle. Also, I can whistle. Just, And how he met his end due to the carnivorous... Oh, I'm dying.
No.
Carnivorous lachrymose
I died, not you.
Yeah, I mean, I might be on my way. Which have the ability to smell food on a human if he or she does not wait an hour before going into the water. The lachrymose leeches still scare the shit out of me.
Dude, yeah. Like this book was so scary.
Exactly, which is probably why I liked it so much.
Yeah. Like this one, and then like the third Harry Potter book, and it's like everything just takes a dark turn.
Like, this is definitely, I think, the darkest of until you get to like the hostile hospital, then things get dark. But this is like the darkest in like feeling, in like mood, just the setting feels very dark, and then
and then you have like Josephine, who is like, she never like that I remember. She never like really says it, but she's like totally suicidal, and it's like that just paints everything.
Yeah. It's just like there's a very like melancholy, like depressing melancholy in this book, and again, probably why I relate to it so much and like it so much. I am just a depressed creature. After telling Aunt Josephine of Hurricane Herman's approach, also there's a hurricane. Remember how I said just a subtle gust of wind might knock this house over? There's a hurricane on its way. Also, I didn't know hurricanes formed on lakes.
It's a fantasy world.
I think they explain that it's not actually a lake. The name is just a lake, but I think they explain that in like an interview somewhere with not Looney Snicket, but the guy who, what is his name?
Daniel something.
Yeah, Daniel Handler. I have another one of his books that's where he's actually Daniel Handler and not Lemony Snicket. But I think, yeah, they explain, like, it's not actually a lake. It's just named
called Lake?
Lake. I think I heard that somewhere. I don't know. I could be this.
I mean, I could believe it either way because it's fiction. It's such a weird world.
This is true. They set about gathering supplies for the storm. While in the town market, they encounter Count Olaf, disguised as a sailor named Captain Sham.
Ha! What a good name. So good at this. Count Olaf, you're so smart.
I know they set it up for his like accent. It's supposed to be Captain Sam, but his accent makes it sound like Sham.
Oh, Sham.
Sham. He's basically Sean Connery.
Captain Sham, she.
But still, just so good. The three children attempt to warn Aunt Josephine about Captain Sham's true identity, but she does not believe them due to Sham's charm or his use of a peg leg to hide his tattoo of an eye on his left ankle, and because he has a business card. Ladies, get you a man with a business card. Despite that, anyone could go to a print shop and have a business card, say whatever they want.
Yep, I was about to say that. I was like, it's very easy. Especially
I mean, I could just make one right now and say that my name is Toots McButtface, but it doesn't prove that my name's Toots McButtface. But
people will believe it because you hand it in such a charming, official manner.
Yeah, here's my business card. Hit me up later sometime. It just says Toots McButtface. Nothing else. There's no contact information.
It's just like in really tiny print. You have to like zoom in, and there's like like some sort of message.
You have to scan it into your scanner, into your computer to zoom in super close to see it.
And it just says, "Why are you wasting your time doing this?"
Or it's like written in like white ink, so you have to like scan into your computer so that you can like mess with frequencies in Photoshop or some shit.
Yep. And then you do all that, and
all it says is like, "Are you fucking stupid?"
I mean, obviously you're not. You're pretty smart for getting this far, but why?
But why? I would have just, like, the name on it says Toots McBugface. I would have just thrown it away.
Or put it up on your fridge and be like, that was a funny day.
It's an interesting moment of my life. Anyway, during dinner that evening, Aunt Josephine receives a phone call. Oh, dinner of cold cucumber soup. Because she doesn't turn on the stove because she's terrified it'll set on fire and blow up her face. Aunt Josephine receives a call from Captain Sham, and she then sends the children to their bedroom. The Baudelaires, that's so, like, the thought of that is just, like, because there's no, like, context in the wiki, just like, oh, I'm getting a phone call. Kids, go to bed! I'm getting the gentleman caller! I need to be, I don't need your distraction anywhere in my life. So Baudelaires lie awake for what feels like hours, trying to get themselves and Aunt Josephine out of the situation with Captain Sham before eventually falling asleep. They are later awakened by a sudden sound of shattering glass and immediately go to investigate. Upon searching the house for any trace of Aunt Josephine, the Baudelaires come to the library where they find a suicide note from their aunt and discover that the wide window had shattered in the convenient shape of a lady.
Of a lady.
Because no other glass around it fell apart. Only the shape of Josephine was there.
Bugs Bunny.
Yep. The letter states, and it's because it's written out, and it's very important to the plot. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny. By the time you read this note, my life will be at its end. At its end. Spelled with an apostrophe S. Spelled. How? My heart is as cold as Ike, and I find life unbearable. I know children may not understand the sad life of a dowager, spelled with a D, or what would have leaded me to this desperate act, spelled with a K. But please know that I am much happier this way. As my last will and testament, I leave you in the care of Captain Sham, a kind and honorable man. Please think of me kindly, even though I'd done this terrible thing. Your Aunt Josephine. Although filled with grammar... The grammar Nazi. Though filled with grammar mistakes the children know Aunt Josephine would never have made, the note says that Captain Champ is their new guardian. The children can conclude that Count Olaf is behind it and decide to call Mr. Poe, which is a bad move. Every time, it's a bad move.
They got no other choice, though.
Mr. Poe informs the children that, like him or not, Captain Sham is to be their new guardian per Josephine's last will and testament written in the note. Captain Sham, upon hearing the news from Mr. Poe, offers to take he and the 3 children to lunch at a local restaurant, The Anxious Clown.
This was so funny in the show.
Yeah, it was so good. So good. Needing more time to find the truth behind Aunt Josephine's suicide and strangely written note, Violet decides to take drastic action and gives her siblings a peppermint, which the children are terribly allergic to.
Oh.
Can be. Almost immediately, the children break out in hives and their tongues swell, calling Mr. Poe to allow them to go back to Aunt Josephine's house. I remember in the show, it was so good. It's just like, they're having an allergic reaction. I'm sure they're fine. Like, they could swallow their tongue. I'm like, are you sure? Like, I'm pretty sure they're fine. It's like, no. The one time Mr. Poe did something kind of okay. Was he just like...
I think they're gonna die.
Like, not okay.
If they die, then I won't be able to manage their money.
Yeah, that's the problem. As they reached the hilltop, the effects of Hurricane Herman could be felt as rain had started to fall and the wind had begun to pick up, while Violet and Sunny attempt to take a baking soda bath to relieve their itchy hives. Klaus returns to the library to see if he can make out anything about Aunt Josephine's note. As the sisters return to his side, Klaus reveals that Aunt Josephine had purposely written the note to hide a message reading Curdled Cave, which is all the grammar mistakes she made. They conclude that Aunt Josephine is in fact not dead, merely hiding.
Ha-ha.
Upon this discovery, however, the hurricane had reached its peak force. The children find a map to locate Curdle Cave and resolved to look under Aunt Josephine's bed, as she had told them she had hidden anything to do with Lake Lachrymose away after Ike died. Mm-hmm. After finding an atlas of Lake Lachrymose, a bolt of lightning strikes one of the many supports holding Aunt Josephine's house up on the cliffside. No. After a narrow Baudelaire watches the house is ripped from the side of the cliffs and falls from the lakeside below.
And there's a picture. So
yeah, there's a picture.
Scary.
So spooky. The children then hurry to the docks to find Fickle Ferry shut down due to the hurricane. Needing to get across Lake Lachrymose to Curdle Cave, the children decide to take a sailboat from Captain Sham. They just steal his boat.
Yep.
Just like,
we know whatever. Who you are, we're just gonna take it.
The gates of the docks are locked, however, and the keys are in the hand of the sleeping henchperson of indeterminate gender.
Dang it.
Shit!
These indeterminate gender people.
Inside a shack by the gate, posing as a security guard. While Klaus and Violet attempt to make a plan, Sunny goes in to steal the keys from the henchperson and succeeds. One of my slight pet peeves of the story is that whenever they're like, I don't know what to do, Sunny just manages to do it, and it's like a write-off. Like, it's like, she just did it. She's fine. It's like,
she's the lucky one.
Yeah, Sunny's like of all the unfortunate stuff, she has a lot of fortunate circumstances occur. So she just manages to do things. The obese henchperson then picks I skipped a line. After a few moments, however, the henchperson comes lumbering out the door and grabs Violet and Sunny while Klaus is fumbling with the keys trying to open the gate. The obese henchperson then picks up Klaus with their mouth. I forgot about that when I read it. I was like, oh my god.
Ew.
With how? What? Why?
Just like a cat?
Yeah, just like
back of the neck.
Yeah. And begins walking back to the shack. However, they slip on the atlas of Lake Lachrymose, and this gives the Baudelaires enough time to escape and steal a sailboat. They sail out through Hurricane Herman to Curdle's Cave, where they find Aunt Josephine. She tells the children that Count Olaf made her write the note, but instead of killing herself, left the message and threw a footstool through the window that made the appearance of a lady.
With a stool.
Yeah. This is why, all the
that it says, give the appearance that she suicided. Is that the correct way to say that?
It's not. It feels wrong.
It feels wrong, but maybe it's correct.
Maybe. Tell us. Oh my god.
Is this a word? Suicided.
Suicided.
It is. Alright.
That's so
weird. It looks so weird.
It makes me uncomfortable. The Baudelaires try to convince her to sail with them back to town to tell Mr. Poe what had happened, but she refuses.
What had happened was...
What had happened was...
The leeches.
The leeches. Klaus points out to her that the cave is for sale. There's for sale signs everywhere. And realtors would surely come to see it. Aunt Josephine is afraid of realtors.
She's afraid of everything.
It exists. She's afraid of it. Her fear of realtors overpowering her fear of Count Olaf, so she goes with them. After sailing to the center of the vast lake, they are attacked by the lachrymose leeches. Aunt Josephine had regretted to point out that she had eaten a banana shortly before the children had arrived. That fucking bitch! Causing the leeches to attack due to the scent of food. The leeches immediately begin to eat away at the boat, attempting to get to Aunt Josephine.
Ugh,
Violet creates
so
a fiery signal using Aunt Josephine's hairnet, a bit of sailcloth, and a fishing pole, and her knowledge of the scientific principles of the refraction and convergence of light to help catch the attention of another boat.
Yes.
Lots
Go
of
Violet.
things. Science. The signal gets the attention of one sailor on the water, Count Olaf. Oh.
No.
He allows their children and their aunt aboard the sailboat just as they're sinks from the leech's onslaught. Aunt Josephine then pleads with Olaf to allow her to live and that she will go far away and let him keep the Baudelaire. So Aunt Josephine is basically like, is sells out. Yeah, she's just like, if you let me live, like, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. I'll pretend to be dead.
Yep.
When Aunt Josephine, which seems to work for a moment, but then Aunt Josephine corrects a slip of grammar on Olaf's part, and he throws her into the water and sails the boat back to the dock, leaving Aunt Josephine to fend for herself against the swarming leeches. And, like, the final picture is of Aunt Josephine's hand just going into the water. This book is for children!
It's so sad.
So when they arrive back at the dock, Sister Poe is just fixing to hand the children over to Captain Jam when Sunny bites into his fake wooden leg, which, why didn't you do that earlier, breaking it in half, revealing the tattoo and real leg beneath. Olaf then locks the gate to Democula's dock, and once again escapes with the henchperson of indeterminate gender and leaves the Baudelaire children searching for someone else to care for them.
Oh, man.
Larry the waiter at the Anxious Count says, I didn't realize this was a sad occasion, which is a VFD reference. It's like one of the last ones. I have a couple of quotes. Couple good quotes. For some stones, it's easy. For some stories, it's easy. The moral of the Three Bears, for instance, is never break into someone else's house. The moral of Snow White is never eat apples. The moral of World War I is never assassinate Archduke Ferdinand.
Yep.
It's just such good. It's just good. It's good.
Just don't kill, maybe?
Yeah, just don't kill. There are few sights sadder than a ruined book.
Oh.
Yeah. Tears are a curious thing, for like earthquakes or puppets shows, they can occur at any time, without any warning, and without any good reason.
Puppet shows.
Puppet shows.
Yep. I've experienced so many unwanted and sudden puppet shows in my life.
Never trust anyone without a book, which is like a theme throughout the entire series. It's good. And last but not least, Count Olaf certainly does sound evil. Imagine forcing children to stand near a stove after they tell Josephine that they made pasta punesca.
A stove!
A stove!
You poor children.
You poor children! The things you've been through!
Oh, man.
Okay. The Miserable Mill, our final book for the podcast.
Yeah. So, I think, if I remember correctly, this is the one that I didn't like as much as the other ones.
It definitely is the weirdest of all of them.
Yeah,
and
that might be why.
It feels the most out of place compared to the rest of them.
Yeah.
The stuff that happens seems very odd compared to like the other ones. Even though there's odd things, but these are very odd.
Yeah, because I think I didn't like the gum.
Yeah.
I hated.
I think what the TV show did to this book was really smart because they made it make sense. Because the book standing alone is really weird because it sets up that their guardians are like the mill, but in the TV series they run away to the mill. Yeah, basically, it's kind of situation. Yeah, and then they there's no hypnotism on the workers in the book, but there is in the TV series, which makes the gum and everything else
make more sense, at least.
At least it gives you an explanation for why, there was someone who can hypnotize Klaus so nearby.
Yeah.
As well as why they're just fine with eating, getting paid in gum.
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah, I think the book is weird, but I think the TV show did a great job
They helped smooth some stuff out.
Fixing some weirdness to it.
Yeah.
Also, the like affirmation that Sir and his like partner are like actually in a relationship in the series is like also just really great. Okay. Dear reader, I hope for your sake that you have not chosen to read this book because you are in the mood for a pleasant experience.
Wait,
if this is the case, I advise you to put this book down instantaneously because of all the books describing the unhappy lives of the Baltimore orphans, the miserable mill. I'm in the mood for a happy experience. Ooh, the miserable mill. I wonder what this one's about.
What's this one about?
Might be the unhappiest yet. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny Baudelaire are sent to Poultryville to work in a lumber mill, and they find disaster and misfortune lurking behind every log. The pages of this book, I'm sorry to inform you, contain such unpleasantries as a giant pincher machine, a bad casserole, which, a man with a cloud of smoke where his head should be,
Great.
a hypnotist, a terrible accident resulting in injury, and coupons.
Ew, who wants coupons?
Ew! I promise to write down the entire history of these three poor children, but you haven't. So if you prefer stories that are more heartwarming, please feel free to make another selection.
No.
With all due respect, Lemony Snicket.
No.
No. I want to be sad. I like being sad.
Yes.
Okay. So upon arrival, Violet, Klaus, and Sunny Baudelaire learn that they will have to work at Lucky Smell's lumber mill in the town of Poultryville. But as part of the deal, their new guardian, Sir, they call him Sir because his name is so long and complicated that nobody can pronounce it right, will try to keep their nemesis, Count Olaf, away from them. So, again, like, this is the one where it's weird because, like, it's like
they're
at this
children.
Like, yeah, they're children. They're children.
Why are they working in a mill?
Yeah, this is at the point where they're just like, there are no more guardians for you. Like, this is what we have to do now. Which is ridiculous.
Weird, because it's like, all of, like, the other guardians were, like, so far removed. What about the closely related ones?
Yeah, like, any of them.
Are they all dead?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Anything else, please? So, like, they basically, like, Sir made a deal. It was just like, I need workers, and
even if
I'll
they're
make
children.
Yeah, even if they're children. I don't.
Baby.
And Sir also smokes like cigars like heavily, so like the smoke where his head should be is just smoke from cigars. They're just covering his head.
Because he's just constantly smoking.
Yeah. They meet Sir's partner Charles, who is very sweet. He's a very kind man. Who shows them the library, which contains 3 books. One about the history of the lumber mill, one about the town constitution, and one donated by Dr. Orwell, the local optometrist who lives in the eye-shaped building. Dr. Orwell.
Ha.
She sounds great.
Ha.
All, like, you know, a big brother type person living in an eye-shaped building.
I know, and then when you're young, you don't even get that.
You don't even know. Oddly enough, the lumber mill pays its workers in chewing gum and coupons, and the workers are complacent with this. In the TV series, it is later revealed that they are under hypnosis, which makes more sense.
More sense.
Like, make the situation seem
accepting gum and coupons. Because, like, how do you... Just because you have coupons doesn't mean you get food.
Yeah, it just means you
get, like, $1 off the food.
But, like, they're also not getting paid in money, so they have no money to buy the food.
So they just have coupons.
They just have coupons.
To put, like, use as wallpaper.
Yeah.
In their little bunk area.
While working at the mill, Klaus is purposely tripped by the new foreman, Flactuono. Count Olaf.
Flacatono?
Flacatono. Flactono, an anagram for Count Olaf. Did you pick that up?
When was this written?
Excellent question.
When did these come out? Did they come out after Harry Potter?
This one was released in 2000, so yes.
Do you think he was just doing, like, a Lord Voldemort thing?
Probably, but there's also, like, that becomes, like a proper, like, thing. I think maybe it started off that way, but it becomes, like...
I'm wondering if that's where the idea came from.
Because it becomes, like, because when you read the unauthorized biography, they talk about, like, all the codes that they use, how they use a lot of, like, anagram type shit for a lot of their stuff. So.
But it's also like, dude. Stop.
Dude. And breaks his glasses.
No.
He is sent to see my glasses. I can't see without my glasses. He is sent to see Dr. Orwell, and when Klaus returns hours later, acts very strangely, as if in a trance.
This one made me sad too because that happened.
Yeah.
I think I didn't like have a favorite of the kids. You know, It's like I love all of them, and now that one of them is actually in danger and in trouble, it's like I'm so sad.
Yeah,
they're actually being affected, not just emotionally, but.
This is why I think this one is like the most miserable for the children, is because like something actually like legitimately bad happens to them.
Yeah.
Like they have like a lot of unfortunate events that occur. Like their guardian is an idiot. They lose their guardian. They don't have the greatest circumstance. But like nothing directly happens to their physical being in any way, shape, or form until this book.
Yeah.
And it's like, unless you count Klaus getting slapped by Olaf, but this is like a bit more of a bigger deal. Like he's like properly hypnotized, so it's just it's like the first time where you're just like, oh no, like they really don't care like at all, that they're just kids. Like like that's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think. Like this, like the villains in this story are so much scarier than like villains in other stories, is because like they legitimately do not care that they're kids. Like, they don't care. They have no remorse and no feeling. They're
like psychopaths.
Exactly. Which makes them so much more terrifying.
Yeah.
Because, like, they will do anything that they want to get to that fortune, even if it means, like, properly, like, harming children. And, like, not seeing them as children. Which I think is, like, one of the things, like Count Olaf is an idiot, but he does know that those children don't act like children. And so, like, he knows, like, he can treat them like adults because they tend to act like adults, where everyone else kind of talks down to them, like they're idiots. So.
Yeah.
And he still
Olaf
talks down.
Olaf is the only one that actually sees them for how mature they are, which is just...
Yeah. Like, he still has moments where he, like, undermines their intelligence, but it's, like, it's at the fault of his own, because usually he's, like, making a point, but actually it's wrong. Like, anytime he tries to correct them, it's when he's wrong, and, like, whatever. But he, like, he's the only one who, like, actually, like, treats them like they're adults. Yeah. Which is terrifying.
Sad.
Yeah, it's very sad and very terrifying.
So sad.
The next day, the foreman wakes Klaus, telling him to get to work, which Klaus does immediately and doesn't even bother to put his shoes or socks on.
In a lumber mill.
Flacutono instructs Klaus to operate the stamping machine. Klaus causes an accident by dropping the machine on Phil, an optimistic coworker. One of the quotes I have, I think, is of Phil's. Because it is. I'll read it when we get to the end. But it's a good Phil quote. But it's about this matter. The foreman says an unfamiliar word. The other workers ask what it means, and Klaus, who is suddenly back to normal, defines the word. So the word seems to be important in some way.
Seems to be.
Klaus explains that he doesn't remember what happened after he broke his glasses. Foreman Flacutono trips him again, causing his glasses to break. This time, though, Violet and Sunny accompany Klaus to Dr. Orwell's office. Also, I love the misdirect that occurs in this with Count Olaf, because all of the pictures of the foreman are very, like... like, there's, like, the name, and then, like, the pictures of the foreman are very Count Olaf-esque, but then, like, you actually meet Count Olaf, and you're like, oh, no.
Oh. No.
No. Together they arrive at the eye-shaped building. They knock on the door, and Dr. Orwell opens it. She is seemingly pleasant and tells Violet and Sunny to sit in the waiting room. She mentions the concept of attracting flies with honey. Violet and Sunny wonder about this before finding Count Olaf disguised as Shirley, a female receptionist wearing tights covered in eyes and a nameplate spelled out with gum. Do you see that misdirect that they did there?
It sounds like the best lady ever.
She sounds
not
great.
Suspicious at all.
Not at all. Violet realizes that Dr. Orwell is the honey and that they have been the flies. Dun, dun, dun. She also learns that Klaus has been and is being hypnotized by Orwell, who is in cahoots with Olaf. They leave with Klaus, who is once again in a trance.
cahoots?
In coats. When they return to the lumber mill, they find a note instructing them to see Sir. He tells them that if there is another accident, he will place them under Shirley's care.
Why?
Because she offered, and Sir can't be bothered there. Violet and Sunny put Klaus to bed. He remains barefoot.
Gross.
Gross. And they go to the mill's
like, just like wood chips shoved into your skin.
I just can't imagine. They read the book donated by Orwell using the table of contents by a chapter on hypnotism among the other chapters on eyes. Violet learns that Orwell's technique uses a command word to control the subject and a word to break the hypnosis. They then hear the lumber mill starting early and rush to see what is happening. They find Charles strapped to a log being pushed through a buzzsaw by Klaus. Foreman Flacutono is giving orders. The girls move to stop them but see Klaus's bare feet, a clue that he is still being hypnotized. Violet learns the command word, lucky, and orders Klaus to release Charles, but Flacutono orders him to continue. Shirley and Orwell arrive, and the optometrist orders Klaus to ignore his sisters. Violet remembers and says the word with which Phil unhypnotized Klaus, inordinate, just in time. Sunny and Orwell have a fight with swords and teeth.
Yes.
Then Orwell yes, that is a thing that happens. Then Orwell falls into the path of the buzzsaw and is gruesomely killed. In the show, she is tossed in a fire. Slightly less gruesome. Violet is caught by Shirley and Flacutono while Klaus manages to set Charles free as Mr. Poe and Sir arrive. The Baudelaires then explain what had happened. Shirley and Flacutono, locked in the library, insist to Poe and Sir that they are also under Orwell's hypnotic influence. The Baudelaires beg the adults to check for one of Olaf's identifying marks, a tattoo of an eye on his left ankle. The adults reluctantly agree to ask Shirley to show her left ankle. Shirley reluctantly agrees and is revealed to be Count Olaf. He then throws the book Violet used to learn about hypnosis, advanced ocular science, through the window. He and with the bald man with the long nose, who is disguising himself as the foreman, Flacutono, escape. Sir fires the Baudelaires because he believes they will bring more trouble to the mill. Mr. Poe then sends them to Proof Rock Preparatory School. They've gone to school since their parents died. There are no references to VFD in this book.
Which is probably another reason why it was, like, meh.
Yeah.
Like, what? Because, like, you don't have any, like, solid leads that something's happening, but you know something's happening.
I think, again, I think the TV series did a great job of adding to this specific one to give it more, like, make it seem, because this feels very much like a in-between. Like, we needed something to put here. Mm-hmm. Let's quickly put it here. And so, like, what they added in the TV series was very smart and very good and, like, a good way to nod and stuff. Because they also make, like, the mill a part of, like, the VFD and, like, the parents in some way. They figure out more stuff about their parents. Because you don't start to learn that their parents are involved in anything until, like, you get to Proof Rock Preparatory.
Yeah.
Like, because once you meet the Quagmires, that's when they start to uncover some stuff.
And they start, like, connecting stuff.
And then, like, the Vile Village turns, like, fucking makes that all because they go to the Vile Village for a specific reason. Because it's called VFD. But yeah, my quotes, before we go into further discussion, my quotes for this one. The first quote I wrote down was, "They're book addicts."
Yes!
I was like, I love this series so much. If you have ever had a miserable experience, then you have probably had it said that you would feel better in the morning. This, of course, is utter nonsense, because a miserable experience remains a miserable experience even on the loveliest of mornings. Appearance matters a great deal because you can often tell a lot about people by looking at how they present themselves. And then, as if they were a pizza being delivered instead of 3 children all alone in the world. This dropped off at the mill. If someone had told me that day at the beach that before long I'd find myself using my 4 teeth to scrape the bark off trees, I would have said they were psychoneurotically disturbed. This is something Sunny said.
Oh.
And that Mr. Poe would once again fail to do anything even remotely helpful. It's just. And then my Phil line is, "It's fine. I've never liked my left leg so much anyways."
Oh, Phil.
You're so nice.
You're so optimistic.
Why are you so kind? But yeah, so I think The Miserable Mill is like, it's definitely like a lackluster book compared to the
weird one.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's definitely like an experimenting phase, but also like I think like it sets up that things are about to change, which I think is important. Like, we've gotten to 3 books of the same formula, and then, like, the Miserable Mill follows the formula, but it's different, which is interesting. And then the Austere Academy follows the formula, but it's different. And then once you get to the Vile Village, everything changes.
Yeah.
So, it, like...
setting you up slowly for change.
Basically, like, which I think is, like, it makes the book weird, but in the overall grand scheme of the entire series, I think it's... Yeah, it's definitely very fitting. It fits in the hole that it needs to, even if reading it is, like, the most... again, I think the movie, the show, which is very odd to say, because usually it's like, oh, the show ruined it, they didn't include this stuff. The show added so many things that were needed to make the Miserable Mill fit better into everything.
The thing about the show that I'm still, like, on the fence about is, like, they've included so much stuff outside of the Baudelaires.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much VFD already.
Yeah. And it's like, that's, but, like, what I'm okay with is, like, it's still the same feeling because you actually don't know anything.
You still have
just a bunch of weird things happening.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's like, I feel like they needed to add more VFD-related stuff to be able to tell the story via TV better. Like, because there's stuff that we see in the book that, like, you read in the book that kind of, like, could, like, lean itself towards hinting at stuff.
Yeah,
but
like from Lemony Snicket.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't glean that information from, like, all the Dear Readers and the synopses and, like, the at the end of the book when they do, like, the, like, Lemony Snicket is blah blah blah, like, there's, like, a bio about the author and the bio about the illustrator, like, who they are. Like, that also has information about like, the story. So, like, that's stuff that we can't get in the TV series. So, like, I think it makes sense. And I think, like, if they try to do it the way that the book currently has it, where they slowly fall into the conspiracy, it'll turn off way more viewers at the beginning, because they're just going to see kids who are sad. Just really, really sad. So I think, and because it's a Netflix series, and because, like, it was a book series for kids who are now adults, now that the series has come out, I think they needed to introduce that conspiracy more heavily at the beginning to really, like, give the story more push as it got. Instead of, like, the slow build into the conspiracy, it's like, no, there's a conspiracy here.
Yeah.
They still reveal stuff in the same way that they reveal stuff in the book, like, very slowly and very much like, this is information you have. You won't know what's important about it, because Lemony Snicket will come in and it's like, if I could tell you now that this was an important moment and I wish they would have grabbed the thing that they should have grabbed when they were right next to it, I would tell you that, like, you know, sometimes life doesn't go that way. Like, it's just like, what does it do? Like, why? Like, there's still, like, a level...
And we're moving on.
There's still a level of, like, why did they need it? What? Like, there's still a level of you don't know...
There's still a lot of mystery, yeah.
Yeah. But there's still, like, it's just introducing those, like, VFD bits much earlier and much more heavily, which I think makes sense for a TV series.
It adds to more of the comedy, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is, like, a depressing story, so, like, we need that. And it fits the tone of the books.
Yeah, it does. So I feel like they've taken the unauthorized biography, and they've taken bits of that and added it to the series, so that it's, like, a part of the series as opposed to, like, an series. There's also the prequel books, which is, like, the Lemony Snicket books. There's, like, 5 books that are just about Lemony Snicket, altogether, like, his character in general, that I think that they also incorporated, which I haven't read those, which probably, like...
Yeah, I think I have the first one.
I already know, like, everything about this fucking series, because anytime, like, I'm just in the mood, I'm just, like, read through, and I'm like, I just fucking love this series. I just read through the wiki, and I'm like, because every now and then the thought pops up into my head, like, have they ever figured out what the Sugar Bowl is? And I'm like, well, let's go look it up real quick. Like, when Joey and I watched series on Netflix, it was so hard for me, and he hated me for it, and I wish I was, like, better at it, but, like, we were watching it, and I just wanted to look at the wiki, and I just wanted to see things. I'm like, yeah, I remember that, and I would look at stuff, and like, so I can remember every bit of it before we got to, like, the next bit, and he's like, put your phone down. I'm like, but, like, it just reminding me of things. Like, I just want to remember everything about it. Like, once, like, as, like, one of the characters, I won't say who because of people watching it who might not know yet till we do it. But one of the characters mentions the sugar bowl for the first time. It like unlocked something in my head, and I was like, "Oh my god, the sugar bowl!" Just like reminded me of everything that happens at the end of the series, and it's like, oh my god. It's like a flood of information just falls into my head. I'm just like,
oh, and then we're gonna open this file now.
It's just like, and then it's a reminder of like, we still have no fucking idea what the sugar bowl is. What is it? Why is it? What is in it? Is it a sugar? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Cause a problem. But because in the TV series they introduce stuff that's in the unauthorized biography and the limiting state, like past relation, like the Baudelaire's parents, their relationship to Olaf, like why Olaf doesn't like them at all, like. And, like, that's introduced way earlier, because it's not introduced in the series as a whole altogether. It's introduced in the biography. So I think it's smart that they've done that, to, like, incorporate bits of that story. Like
more context to stuff, yeah.
Exactly. Because that way, when they do the end, it, like, maybe they can tie up some pieces. Because Daniel Handler is a part of, like, the production team and everything. So I imagine he's giving them all the answers. So I'm hoping we get all the answers at the end of the series.
Nope.
We're not gonna. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking goddamn way. Because, like, the problem with just me and you right now is I just want to discuss the end, like, the end of the series.
Well, I haven't read the last one, is the issue.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Now I want to die.
Well, because I told you, like, my book 12 had a printing error, so I never... Like, I only got halfway through 12, and then, like, we moved or something, and I just never finished it.
Well, because the ending is so...
Because I think we had the last one, but we never bought a new book 12.
Yeah.
So.
That's rough.
It's so dumb. I thought it was part of the book because the books are so weird because like what happened it was like pages like 102 to like 213 just repeated.
Oh my god.
And so I was missing like 100 pages and I thought it was part of the book because the books are weird, so I just kept reading it and I was like, this is the same exact thing. So I was like trying to compare pages. I was like, is there a code? Like
am I missing something?
Like this isn't real, is it?
This isn't right. Yeah, that's also because that's like a moment. I think it's in Miserable Mill. I feel like it is, but there's a moment where one of them says like they feel like they've been experiencing deja vu, and then like explains what deja vu is, and then they repeat that paragraph.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just like.
Yeah, because I was like, this has happened before, so what if this is a thing?
What if this is just a thing that it happens? But yeah. That's really sad. But yeah, the ending of the entire series is very... What? Just like... What? Just very... Because it's like not an ending.
Yeah.
It's an ending and not an ending. Anybody who's read the entire series will know what I'm talking about, who's watching this will know what I'm talking about, but it's just like... And I just want... It's just so many... Because the other books in the series aren't... like follow-up books to the series, they're before books to the series, there's no answer.
Yeah.
Currently. So what the fuck happened? And it's it's good. Anyway. But yeah, like I feel like the show is doing a great job with these books. Because, like, these books deserve it a lot. Because they're so good. They basically shaped my childhood.
Yeah,
probably
like
into
this and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And, like...
a handful of other books.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
these were, like, the middle school books.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're younger reader books. But, like, they're so good. And then, like, especially because I think I was reading them... Because I think, when did the end come out? Ooh, spelling is hard. The End. Book 13. It was released October 13th of 2006. So we had just graduated middle school when the final book came out. So, yeah, this was basically, this and Harry Potter shaped my adolescence.
Yeah.
So,
and that's where, like, you get your emotional, that's when you develop, like, your emotional, like,
exactly.
tone for your life.
So it explains so much about us. Like, why we are.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean that I'm sad all the time? What sarcasm? What
do you mean that I use sarcasm and big words to hide the fact that I'm depressed?
What do you mean that every time I take a friend's quiz that I end up as Chandler, the one that hides everything with humor? What does that mean?
I'm feeling personally attacked right now.
Oh my god. I need to just stop this podcast right now.
Yeah, I think we need to stop. I think we need to discuss our friendship.
I need to discuss my childhood.
God, really need
with
to
a therapist.
Yeah, it's like, I can see why, like, because we talked about it before, but The Bad Beginning had some controversy for some schools.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this off podcast, because it held such dark themes that a lot of people thought weren't appropriate for children, which, like, reading through these books again and kind of seeing how it's shaped us in our adult life, I could kind of see why they were concerned. But at the same time, I'm never for banning books for any reason. So, like,
it's not any darker than, like, any of the other books you're forced to read, you know?
The Catcher in the Rye has way darker themes. Yeah. Like, any of that. But I guess you read that when you're in high school. But still. It's like when I was in school, I was going behind my teacher's back and reading grade levels that were higher than the grade level I was in. Like, in 3rd grade, I was reading 6th grade books. Yeah. That's when I read Harry Potter for the first time, which is a 6th grade book. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. Like, kids are going to get a hold of the shit no matter what. It's like the same with video games. When parents are like, we need to stop putting, like, you know, violent video games in the hands of our kids. Like, no, you need to stop doing that. You are, like, it's rated M for mature for a reason.
Yeah.
If your 12-year-old son tells you, I want to play this game, and you don't look into it, that's on you. You're the idiot. Yeah. Like, kids are going to find a way to get a hold of the shit that they want to do.
Yep.
Like, if you monitor that, like, me and my brother played horrible games when we were kids. But, like, and sure, that shaped us into some fucked up people, but not, like, violent fucked up people. Like,
yeah, I mean, there were studies saying that it was linked, but now there's more studies coming out saying that that's just BS, so.
Same with, like, the autism and vaccines connection. It's, like, it's proven to be bullshit and not actually legit. So, like, it's like if you have an issue with, like, any of your kids, like, seeing something that they shouldn't see, like, that's something you have to take control over. Like, because kids will find a way to find out the shit.
Yeah, they're not going to get it at home. Their friends have it.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if you have to screen their friends, then
you're their parent, and they're 12. So
you're allowed to do that.
Maybe if more parents cared, there wouldn't be so many 12-year-olds in Call of Duty's, like, multiplayer campaign telling everybody that they're gonna fuck their mom.
Yeah. Because that's not the issue.
Yeah, that's not the issue.
That's the fine part. That's just boys being boys.
Yeah, that's just boys. But yeah, it's just like, I can see why there was probably, like, a tentative, like, should we be letting kids read this book when it first came out? But at the same time, like, I feel like it's written so well, and it's
written intelligently.
Yeah, very intelligently, that, like...
And it promotes intelligence.
Yeah, that too. It's like, it promotes you being knowledgeable and understanding, like, I can, like, one of the concerns that people had was that, like, the incompetence of adults, and how, like, if kids were in abusive situations, they wouldn't reach out to adults for help.
But the Boulders do.
They do. They, multiple times, they reach out to adults. The adults just react incompetently.
Yeah. They didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Because, like,
adults did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they did what they needed to. I could see why it would promote the idea, like, don't reach out to, like, the adults, but also they still reach out to the adults. Like,
but it's also, like, even if you're a kid, you understand that Mr. Poe is dumb.
Yeah.
You understand that is not the proper person to go to.
I remember reading it, I'm like, why do they go to Mr. Poe again? Like, there's,
Run away.
There's, like, the waiter at the fucking, like, anxious clown was a way better option than Mr. Poe, and you barely know him. Like, Like you immediately know that Mr. Poe is like not, because he's set up to be like,
No, the
he
first
doesn't.
thing he says, it's like, "Hey, your parents are dead.
Hey.
We're gonna go."
We get
And then, like, in the show, I don't remember if this happens in the book, they, like, go to the fire, the burnt down house, and they're like, this is where they died.
You can try to salvage what you can.
With this news you just heard about 2 seconds ago.
Which I think they do in the book. I think they do. I think they briefly.
Do. I don't remember. But
because like they like had to see if they could salvage anything from there. It's like, yeah, because I remember Klaus being like the library was completely destroyed and being sad about it. So I remember that. I remember they go to the house. But yeah, it's just like, let's go to your house right now. Let's not give you a day to process.
Where they die.
Let's not like, you know, take you to a nice comforting place and like be like, I'm here for you. Let's talk.
Nope.
Take
There's
you to
no like guidance counselor type situation.
Like no social services in any way, shape, or form is like, again, like it's supposed to introduce that this is not our world.
Yeah.
This is a weird world where stupid shit like this
just happens.
Like this isn't,
and that's why everyone is the way that they are.
I feel like adults don't give kids credit, like enough credit. Like kids are pretty good at picking shit up, and they can realize when stuff is fiction.
They're they're not good at articulating it, but internally they know what's going on.
Yeah. Like, and like, so like I understand like adults want to protect children from stuff, but it's like you can only protect them from so much before they're gonna find it.
Yeah.
They're, especially now in the world of the internet, they're gonna find all kinds of shit.
They're gonna find so many things.
Like, and actually being introduced to like a book that shows like very depressing like topics and also like an abusive situation is, I think, really good, because I think some people don't recognize it when they're in situations like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's like Olaf is very much an exaggerated like abusive situation, but
not
it's still
really.
True, like he still very much keeps it under wraps when around people, and
Yeah.
it's only so like it's a classic case of like, you know, sometimes he's nice to us, even though Olaf is never really nice to them. But like, I feel like showing kids that isn't bad, because it means
and showing them in a fictional setting.
Yeah, instead of a real life.
Yeah, because like
fictional setting.
Because you can see the hope in it. Whereas when we had to read Night in middle school, knowing that was real and had happened, like it messed me up every time it came up in any history class. Like I couldn't like.
No, it still fucks
accept it. Yeah.
Like it's still because like
I don't even think I could finish reading it.
No, I got to meet Eli Wiesel because he came to our school.
He came to our school too.
And he was like this. Are you okay?
It was just so sad.
Yeah.
I felt so weird because we were just like, it was the first time I was like in an assembly situation. I was like, why are we sitting in an assembly right now listening to this? Like it just felt wrong.
This is where we normally have like pep rallies.
Yeah.
I remember he came and like we got to talk to him, and like I'm German, mm-hmm. and I've lived in Germany, and I have relatives who were a part of like the Nazi regime, and I've seen Auschwitz, and I've like seen things, and it's still like it's there, and it's still so like hard to comprehend, and I'm an adult now, and like it's still just so upsetting like when you think about it. Yeah. And like it's going to fuck you up. There's gonna be shit that's gonna fuck you up no matter what. This book is a fictional world where you can recognize the fucked up shit. Well,
yeah,
and
that's what it helps you process it, and like it shows you that there is hope, and that you can like learn that you can apply that to real life. But if you're just giving kids like Holocaust books, that doesn't. I know what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
but it was like, I'm 10 or however old. Like,
I'm 12.
I can't. What is happening?
There's like,
I remember
I remember when we first like like Reddit, and like we got to watch this documentary where like this like school in like Kansas or something, somewhere in the Midwest, they couldn't comprehend how many people died in the Holocaust. So they collected a paperclip for every like Jew that was, or every person that was killed during the Holocaust, and it was like 6 million whatever paperclips, and like just to show like this is how many people, like, because like you can't, like, it's like such an unfathomable number.
Yeah, because they say you can only, in your brain, you can only fathom 100 people.
Yeah.
No more than 100.
Yeah. So to collect 6 million paperclips and pile them all together, and you can visually see it, it's just like, it's haunting. Like, it's like not okay.
Yeah. But then on the flip side, I guess it's better than the schools that don't teach it at all.
God.
Or teach the wrong version of things.
Yeah. Like, in schools in Germany, they teach the Holocaust. They don't teach you anything about Nazi Germany at all. They teach you the Holocaust.
Yeah.
They, like, if you mention Nazi Germany in Germany, like, they will, like, hunt you down and, like, destroy you. Like, no, we do not talk about that. Like, we're trying to move past that. We're trying to become better than that. Mm-hmm. They teach the Holocaust because this is a product of something that we did, and we need to make sure we never do it again. Mm-hmm. They do not teach anything about Nazi Germany in any way, shape, or form. Nothing, because, like, there's, like, people, because I wrote an entire paper about Hitler, and, like, how he was able to, like, basically make the Holocaust without anybody really caring or knowing or anything like that, because he built an economy for Germany that was great, and so everyone was able to look past everything. He was charismatic, and he was amazing, and he was wonderful, and he helped our economy. You know, let's blame it on the Jews. That's so easy. Yeah. Right? So much easier.
So much like, easier than, like, actually taking responsibility and fixing things. And
yeah, Germany is very strict about not ever mentioning, like, any good that came from Nazism, and it only, like, showcases, like, this is what happened. Yeah. This is awful. We don't ever want to do this again. And, like, Germany is now thriving. So it's just like, yes, let's do it. Let's thrive. But that's, like, a tangent about, but, like, yeah, it's just, like, that, like, introducing, like, bad situations and abusive situations seems to, in a very obviously fictional setting to kids when they're younger, seems to be better for them to be able to process them. Yes. And then also, like, when they're sad, they know how to process it. Like, the Baudelaires often cry, like, openly cry, and they're sad about
they're not afraid to, like, show that they are sad and they have emotions and they're going to deal with them.
Yeah, and one of, like, the recurring themes is, like, they may be in a bad situation, but they have each other. Mm-hmm. They may have lost their parents, and they may kind of be in this horrible situation right now, but they have each other. And, like, that's something that, like, is kind of holding them together. It's just, like, we're still fighting this together. We're not alone in this.
Which is why when Klaus, like, gets hypnotized, it's so scary. Because it's like, we might lose that that rung of our ladder.
Excuse me? Can you stop, like, being weird? It's just flopping about like a fucking weirdo. But it's just like when Klaus, like, when something actually happens to one of them, it's like, oh no, like we've already lost our parents, we've lost 2 guardians by this point. It's like, we gotta make sure
they're the 3-legged stool. If you lose one of them, it's done.
No longer a thing. And which is, like, I think what's also really great is that it shows, like,
dude, calm down.
Your opinion is not important right now.
The adults are talking.
He's good. He's fine. He just had to get comfortable. But yeah, it's just like it's like it also shows, like, the bonds of siblingism, like how, like, your siblings, like, you may not always get along with them, but, like, they're your siblings and they're gonna help you through anything. It's like the Baudelaires are, like, already extremely close, and, like, so, like, this traumatic situation brings them even closer, and so, like, and then they work together repeatedly multiple times to, like, get through it. Although in the TV series, it always, like, sometimes when, like, Klaus and, like, Violet are complimenting each other, it gives me very weird vibes. I'm just, like, because they give, like, each other these, like, looks.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm just like, can you not do that?
Chill, dude. Like,
chill.
Take a step back. Look at your actions right now.
Like, I get it, like, you're just complimenting your sister, but, like, the way you're looking at her is giving me some weird vibes.
There's a difference between pride and attraction.
Yeah. It's a very subtle change, and you're just a kid, so you might not have realized it by now. But it's very subtle, and, like, just, and, like, yeah, it's just, like, which I, like, because, like, they compliment each other all the time throughout the book, and, like, they say great things about each other. They're so smart. Like, Violet's great at inventing. Like, Sunny's amazing. Look at her teeth. They're fucking crazy.
She's so cool.
She's so cool. But, like, you don't, like, it just feels like they're siblings, and they're, like, they just are, like, in this horrible situation, so the only thing they really know to do is to stick together, and to be together, and to fight for each other. But, like, yeah, in the show, it's like, can you not look at each other like that? Please.
Look the opposite way and compliment each other.
Please. Can you not stand?
Look into the distance and say it dramatically.
Yeah. It's just, I know it's not meant to be, but it's just giving me some weird incesty vibes, and I can't shake it.
With the whole Count Olaf thing already happening, like, we gotta stop this.
Yeah, we gotta just
no more incest, please.
Please, no more talk of incest. But yeah, I feel, I just love these books a lot. So much. They're so good. And it's just like, I don't want to know what I would be like if I never read these books as a kid, and instead read them as an adult.
Yeah, I read them later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the one girl in my writer's group, she's never read Harry Potter, and I mean, she's older, so she wouldn't have read it, like, that young anyway, but it's like...
I can't imagine what my life would be like.
Like, having no context for what a Hogwarts house is.
Yeah.
like Christina and I talk about it all the time. We're just like, you're such a Hufflepuff, whatever. And she's just like, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. It's like, because I watch a couple of YouTubers who don't care about anything Harry Potter related. And, like, I get it. Like, there's an entire, like, society of people who didn't read.
Yeah. But they're such a minority.
It's such a minority. But it's like, it's, like... I don't know, and there's people who didn't watch the movies then either, because it's like, what's the point? I never read the books. I don't really care about the fantasy. And I get it. It's not for everyone, but it's become so much ingrained into who I am as a person that I can't imagine not having that as my life. It's like, because it's like Joey is a great example. He's never read the books. He's seen movies.
Yeah, Steve too.
But like, he's never read the book, so he's never had... Joey's also dyslexic, so reading for him is also an experience. So he wants to read more, but it's hard for him.
Yeah.
So it's like, he doesn't have that shaping. So when, like, I forced him to figure out what his house was, because I'm like, you have to figure it out. Like, you're totally a Slytherin. I know you are, but, like, we gotta take...
You need to choose.
Yeah, you take the test, and we need to make sure that's a reality before I just, like, start giving you all the Slytherin shit. Like, to the point where I forced him to use the Slytherin cup that I have, because I have all the 4 houses. And he's just like, why? And I'm like, you have to. If you're in my house and you're going to use the Hogwarts cups, you got to use your house cup.
When we went to... We bought little mugs at Harry Potter World, so that Steve and I have our designated cups now.
Duh. And, like, Julia will refuse to drink from any other cup besides the Hufflepuff cup. Because, like, she's like, this is my cup. This is obviously my cup. And then when it's, like, in the dishwasher, when it's in the dishwasher, she's like, who used my cup? And I was like, you did from the last time you were here. It's still in the dishwasher because I haven't emptied the dishwasher.
It's your cup. It's okay.
It's okay. No other Hufflepuffs have come into my house. It's fine. But yeah, it's just like, and like, the only person who would use it would be Joey, because he's trying to send a message. He's like, your house doesn't matter. It's like, alright,
or
buddy.
That's just a Slytherin move.
Yeah, that's a total fucking Slytherin thing to do right there. But yeah, it's like, these books, like Harry Potter and A Series of Unfortunate Events, are very shaping to, like, your identity. Yeah. It's like, I like to think that I became a much more, like,
it made me not feel bad for liking books.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Much.
It made me, like, want to hunt down, like, answers to stuff. Like, it made me, like, enjoy intelligence. Yeah. And it's the reason why I kind of feel like I've shifted into Ravenclaw from wherever I was when I was a kid or whatever. Because, like, there's a pride in being intelligent in these books, and like you want to be intelligent because intelligence will help you save the day and blah blah blah, and so like it just like leads you to like kind of like cherish intelligence and want to. It's the reason why whenever someone poses a question that I don't know the answer to, I will Google it immediately because then I'm like, I need to know the answer. Joey hates it. He's just like, no, we'll figure it out. I'm like, no, I will Google it now. Right now. No, it needs to be right now. It's going to bother me if I don't know the answer to it. Because I just want to know. I just want to know things. I just like knowing things. But I think that's like part of like that is because of these books. Like it like prides itself on being a book that teaches you things. Yeah. And like praises those who seek out answers and like search for like and like try to like use their intelligence to fix the situations they're in. And like there's like a great moment in the movie where they're like all in their room and they have their cry, but then they like build like a little like Violet uses her like inventing skills to like build like a fort, and then like they get some lights and they just kind of make a good situation out of a bad, and that's like using their skills and their intelligence they were able to do that. So it's just like it's
just cool. Okay.
It's just really good.
It's really emotional.
And yeah, and it's just I don't know. I feel like that's like good. Like more books need to be like that, where they like show that your intelligence is what's going to get you to a better situation. Not you're pretty, not that, you know, you're
not a dude.
Not a guy, yeah. Like, no one else is going to help you through a good, out of a bad situation except for you. There's going to be people around you that might be able to support you and, like help you through some...
Yeah, and that's important, but it's like, at the end of the day, when you're alone, crying in bed, who's with you? Just you.
There's like a great quote that I love. I don't remember where it's from, but it's like you can have as many friends and as many people supporting you, but at the end of the day, it's you at 3 a.m. crying in your bathroom who has to pull yourself off of that bathroom floor and get through it. Yeah. So it's like no matter how many people are around you, you are the one who has to take action and you're the one who has to do it. And so like it shows these kids who are so young.
Yeah.
Like,
and they take responsibility of the situation over and over and over and over and over again.
Like to the point where the adults should probably have done so by now, but
no,
they haven't. There's just like great messages in these books.
It's just great, and everyone should read it. And 10 out of 10.
10, always so good. So I wish
13
Julia
out of 13.
I wish Julia could have been here because I would have loved to hear her opinion on it.
Yeah,
she didn't tell me. Yeah, she didn't tell me anything because we were waiting for the podcast. Because I loaned her one of my books, so because they're not at the library.
I know. The only one that I could find in the library was the third one.
Yeah, she found the second, the third, and the fourth, but the first one was gone. That's like you can borrow it. That's fine. Because she went to South Carolina to see her parents, so she's like, I want to read them on the plane. And I was like, I finished it, so you can take it. It's good. Yeah, like, she didn't tell me anything about her opinions on it before anything else, so, like, I have no idea how she felt about it. So,
well,
I'm intrigued to know, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be good, because the next one we're doing of this one is October? Yeah.
Well, no, I think we're waiting to do, October is when we're finishing it.
Because
we wanted
September?
to do... I think, September we're doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 through 9, I think, and then 10 through
5 books.
Yeah, because they're smaller. Because 10 through 13 are thicker.
The big ones, yeah.
Yeah. Because then we could do it. Because October 13th it's not a Friday the 13th, but it's on a Saturday. So it's like I think why. So September we're doing 5 through 9. What are we doing for August?
Little Women.
Okay, was it Little Women?
Was it Little Women or was it?
Julia wrote them all down, so I'll text her.
I did too, but I lost it.
I cannot say for sure if I wrote it down or not.
That's okay.
So we can send a message to the group and be like, "When is the book reading again?" Julia wrote this down. Next. Put them all in her calendar so she knows.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That would be a good way to do it.
Smart.
Maybe she is the Ravenclaw.
No, she's a straight up Hufflepuff.
Yeah, Ravenclaws and Slytherins are pretty, like, forgetful
similar.
and disorganized in some ways.
Ravenclaws are very procrastinating too, because we only want to do the stuff that we want to do. We don't care about anything else. But yeah, I think
Same.
I can't remember what day we said we were gonna do it either. I don't think we planned the day. Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot a message to the she's at work right now, but
Come on, calendar. Let's see. Did I write anything down that was helpful?
Did I write anything down? Going through my notes? No, not at all.
Not for the podcast. For other things I did.
A lot of stuff down, but none of it was podcast related. I'm like a piece of paper somewhere around here that has it. I just don't know where it is.
Yes. So I think what we will say is I think we're doing Little Women on a Saturday in August.
We think. You know what? We'll post on the Instagram and the Facebook.
Hopefully before the day of.
Yeah, before the day of. Because I feel like we were like, Little Women is really long. Should we do it in August? But I can't remember if we chose any other book. Like, I can't remember.
There were others on the list, and then there's always more books.
Yeah, there's
I
always.
got this one from the library that's about this girl who's like super rich, and then she has to go to like the gambling town and has to like help a con man and like all this stuff, and it's like, I'm so excited to read it.
It sounds interesting.
And I got the first manga of Ouran High School, so
nice.
Excited to read those, even though that was not what I went to the library for.
Yeah, Julia, now that she's working at a bookstore, she's tried to read every genre that she has that's available, and manga's one of them. Yes. And she's never read a manga or watched an anime in her life.
Whoa. And
so she read one for the first time. I can't remember what manga she read for the first time, but I was like, I have every book of Ouran High School Host Club. I'm going to let you borrow it because it's my favorite manga. It was my first manga series that I ever read. And the show still gives me life.
I know. It's so good.
The show is so good. And, like, especially now, it's just like Haruhi is just like, who cares what we look like? Who needs to be, like, looks like a woman? I'm like, yes, preach 2019 goals!
Yes.
It's just so good. It's so good. But yeah, I love the manga. It's
maybe
brilliant.
We'll do a manga one day, as long as it's YA.
Most mangas are YA.
Yeah. So I was like, wait a second.
Like, we'd have to be, because like mangas are so easy to like blast through.
Yeah.
So we'd have to do like this situation where we do like a good long.
Yeah, like a chunk. Chunk.
Oh, because I would love to do Ouran High School Club.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Just discuss.
Yeah. We've been going for over 2 hours. So.
I knew this one was going to go for longer anyway, because we discussed 4 books. And then 4 books that also have a very strong theme of, like, depression and just, like, sadness and horror, like, just great stuff. Oh. And also, we love these books very much, so yes. We rarely get to discuss them in any long form of some kind.
Yes.
So
first one accomplished.
It's bound to happen. Julia is our time. She's the best at keeping time.
I know. We're, like, pushing 2.5 hours, so.
Like, fucking talk.
It's fine. Anyway,
it's fine.
You should read these books.
Yeah,
dear
seriously.
Viewer.
Do
you see what I did?
That's our subscriber names. Dear viewers.
Dear viewers.
This is like one. Dear viewers. Yeah, no. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend these books. So even if you're like an adult reading these books,
read them.
They're like a simple read, like very simple, but they're also very complex. It's like a weird line.
Because of conspiracies.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, like I highly recommend these books.
Yeah.
Always. And also watch the show.
Watch the show. Watch the movie. Watch all the outtakes of Jim Carrey. Okay?
Gosh.
Oh no.
My microphone. Copernicus knocked over my microphone. It's like he knows.
He knows.
Copernicus.
He's like, you guys need to stop.
Goodbye, Copernicus. It's time for his dinner, that's why.
Alright. Goodbye, kitty.
Okay. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, viewers.
Next time.
Where's my music? Come on!
What am I doing?
Where's buttons? Where did my sound go? No! Don't worry. Don't worry.
Wow.
Don't worry. It's fine.
Still occurring.
Shh, it's fine. my sound settings went away. Come back.
No, I'm just gonna scroll through Facebook. You do your thing.
Alright, bye everyone.
Bye!